Hello, bienvenue, and welcome to That Guy's a Maniac, the podcast that gives you the unenviable insight into the creators and masterminds behind the second greatest video games website of all time, www.thatguys.co.uk. And tell us, Farley, where else can we be found?
That bit's scripted, dude.
It is scripted.
Why don't you just write a script you can read? I can hear you laughing at your own mispronunciation halfway through. And sometimes you don't even mispronounce it. I think it's a memory of you mispronouncing it that makes you laugh.
Listen, it's fine. Look, I mean, you don't need to draw attention to every single fuck up I do in the intro.
Oh, everyone's going to be like, oh, why is he laughing in the middle of the intro? If they come off a hot mic talking about, no, cold. Just came cold in. Entertaining yourself with the intro.
Making myself laugh is like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, okay. Right, whatever. Where else can we be found?
You can find us across the internet at Instagram, That Guy's a Maniac. I lost my mind. Twitter, That Guy's a Maniac. Facebook, That Guy's a Maniac. YouTube,
You know what you should do, Farley? You should write that down.
Write it down and put a word like unenviable as the third word, and then every time stumble over it. We sometimes post things to those things.
We sometimes post things to those things. And what is our handle?
At That Guy's a Maniac.
Yeah, okay.
Lowercase or one word for those 90s kids.
It's important that it's lowercase.
Yeah, because there was that time, do you remember when emails had case sensitivity in them?
No, that never happened. Good. And of course, such quality broadcasting, such as the inability to not gloss over the word unenviable.
Can we go such again in that sentence?
Oh my god.
I think we only had two there.
Okay. Such quality broadcasting of such caliber
Calamore.
Calendar. Fucking fuck. Right.
Thanks, Richie. Yes, we couldn't bring you this content without generous support from some sponsors this week. We are sponsored by Concordia Medical Institute, a fantastic medical institute that specializes in strange mystical power time freezing surgeries. So Concordia Medical Institute for all your mystical power time slowing surgery needs.
Is there any products that perhaps Concordia put out there?
No.
Okay, cool, fine. Good old Concordia. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Without
guys.
you, this shit couldn't happen.
No.
Right, so we had a really, really good time at the Gammies, and we're a bit shattered, so we're going to do a cop-out blog? It's not a blog, is it, Farley? It's a podcast, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay,
a blog would be an interesting thing for us to
do. Yeah, it would be. So we're going to do a cop-out podcast of our typical what have you been playing?
What have you been playing? And a thanks to all the people who wrote, emailed and texted, worried about whether we reported to the bottom platform or not after the Gammies. We managed to get out. There were very few casualties, I think. A couple of celebrities unfortunately lost their lives, but
no one important died.
No. It was a bunch of Sonic friend characters.
Yeah, just
really
because it's their own fault for turning up in their furry outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, yeah, the classic "What are you playing?" We're going to talk about the games that we've been playing most recently. And I tell you what, Farls, why don't you kick us all off? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, where do I start? I've got a little list. Well, let's start with a game that I know that you don't like very much, because it's debatably a game, and that's Pokemon Quest. I have finally golded Pokemon Quest.
Pokemon Quest, is that the Kibby one thing?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Tumble Cube Island. It's a very strange free-to-play game on Switch. I think it's on mobile as well, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sort of a dungeon runner that plays itself. You really have
Literally plays itself.
Yeah, limited interaction. You can pick your team, and then you'll have various slots, and you level them up, and you put gems and plates that you pick up to improve their stats, and then they kind of go out, and then as they level up, they increase the number of slots, and then there's various daily rewards, but you harvest ingredients on these runs. You can chuck these runs in a cauldron, and depending on the combination of ingredients you use, some ingredients are rarer than others. It will attract new Pokemon to your camp.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun.
Debatable.
I definitely rate it above Go.
Okay, fair enough. Go is more of a lifestyle choice than it is a game.
Yeah, and after God knows how long, must have been a couple of years, finally caught Mew. And on the same day, weirdly, almost didn't notice it because the thing has an autoplay feature, so you don't even have to look at it. Beat the final level.
Listen to the words you're saying.
I know. Yeah, it's just it's that sweet time when you feel like, oh, I should probably do my dailies. And these days, across different games, dailies can take you all day. Yeah, I want to do my dailies, but I don't actually want to play a game.
Yeah.
It's whack Pokemon Quest on until your seven daily mission gems time out. There you go, that'll do. So yeah. It was nice that it happened all on the same day, though.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that it's out your life. That's one less dailies that you have to deal with.
Yes, I logged into... But do you know the thing that bugs me?
Oh, no, please don't.
The thing that bugs me is, when you log into your Switch, and it shows you a gallery of icons for all the last 10 games that you played or whatever it is. And then you can hit the See More button. And then you can arrange the games by... it auto sorts into last played, but you can sort them by length of time played, I think, title, etc. I like to keep... this is such a weird thing. I like to keep all the related games together, right? So if I play Fire Emblem...
Fucking nutter, I can already see where this is going. You're launching it to keep it up. And the
Fire Emblem Three Houses sits on the far left. I'm like, oh, but I haven't played Fire Emblem Warriors for a while, and then now they're separated. So now I play Fire Emblem Warriors. So between Pokemon Home, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Tekken, Let's Go, Quest,
Pokken or Tekken?
Pokken, sorry, Quest and Pokemon Cafe Mix. I have to keep all of those together. Which is partly what inspires me to do my dailies on Cafe Mix and Pokemon Quest. But now, if Pokemon Quest is done, the sensible solution is just to archive the software, right? Or archive the software. It's not even that big a download.
Yeah, I think I played it for like a week and a half solidly. And also, apologies for sounding like a cunt there. It's like, sorry, did you mean Pokken, not Tekken, Farley? I heard myself, and I was just really trying to double check. Is Tekken out in the Switch? Are you playing Tekken? It was a more inquisitive thing rather than being a prick.
We're all used to your bullying.
My bullying?
Yeah.
I'm the Pretty Patel of the That Guy's a Maniac podcast.
Oh, politics!
Yeah, we moved into satire, guys. Hey, we all knew it was going to happen. I played Pokemon Quest for about a week and a half, and I think you end up at some point you unlock the autoplay feature, and I found myself on a commute, and I'd spent like half an hour on a train, literally just watching a game play itself. And there was a sobering moment it's just a kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? There are so many other better things. I know that you can say that about most games and all that sort of stuff, but there were so many other better things I could do other than watch a Pokemon Quest game play itself. So I didn't. I just decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm out. It's good. I'll leave it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's something we've talked about before, that perhaps related to value or lack of value in games, and just the laziness that is creeping into gaming. Right? So yeah, I do want to do some gaming, but I don't actually want to play a game.
Yeah.
And those needs are catered. Those needs are catered for. Strange thing. Anyway, that's done. I will say is I mean, yeah, it was very clear. I mean, God knows how much it earned, because classic free to play. Right, the first couple of levels are enjoyable, and you've got all this new stuff coming in, and then very very quickly you kind of hit a wall, and there's a whole bunch of microtransactions there for you to nudge over that wall, which I didn't spend any money on. But the world is designed so all the scenery and the Pokemon are in these really strange cube forms, which they've actually produced quite a bit of merch for.
Yeah, you got me a Gengar. Still sitting.
Yes,
Still sits beside my Switch.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there's quite a, so I quite like the weird kind of cube versions of all the different Pokemon. I think like Ditto is just a cube with eyes on.
Excellent.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe we'll see another one. A weird game.
I don't know. I mean, it reminded me, or it had similar kind of feel to it as the Rumble one on the DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like that one more. Again, possibly a game that is more. I don't know. It's one of those ones that you don't really play either. Fuck it.
At least you have to input in Pokemon Rumble.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, if Pokemon Rumble is the kind of chibi versions of Pokemon, what's those weird stackable things? Is it Zum Zum?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's a weird. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if Disney picked it up from something else, but it's like plushies of characters, but instead of them being themselves, they look like these stackable blobs.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Sorry.
Missed out.
Yeah, I guess so.
On that trend. Okay, yeah. Well, this is the Pokemon version of it, I think. With these
yeah, I guess so.
Characters.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. It's an aesthetic, and I guess it lends to the atmosphere of the non-playable game that it is. Yeah, cool.
What are you playing?
Well, I've actually been playing quite a few titles.
All right,
motherfuck.
Billy Big Balls over there.
Billy Big Balls. Yeah, Mr. fucking Streets of Rage champion 1993. No. I've actually been touching on, and touching is probably the wrong word to use here, a couple of controversial games. So, last week, the remastered versions of Bloodrayne came out. Now, Bloodrayne is that super 90s video game, which features the female protagonist, leather clad with two blades on her arm, in a 3D platform shooter action thing. And yeah, she's kind of this half vampire anti-hero, and when you look at the trailers, it looks quite swish. It is like she runs about. It's set between World War I and World War II. So she's running about killing Nazis, and it's...
Oh, really? I had no idea that it was set in between the wars.
Yeah, it was. The second one I think is set in modern day. Don't quote me on that one. I haven't got that far. Well, I actually have played it before, but but yeah, it's a thing. No. Yeah, so it's set between the wars. You kill Nazis. You do combos. You feed on people to keep your life up, and everything kills you. Like if you're in water, you start dying, and so you need to like you sort of do this weird sort of grab onto them and feed on them. Vampire stuff. It is super anti-hero stuff. Everybody's wearing black. You can almost hear Rob Zombie in the background. It's just so 90s. In all of its flaws. So yeah, it's a very, very 90s game. When I say it's controversial, everybody very, very quickly associates Bloodrayne with that very famous UA Bowl film, which is supposed to be based on Bloodrayne, but we all know that UA Bowl just simply creates these weird, shitty versions of computer games that aren't anything to do with the games, and they're just a weird tax haven for them. So yeah, the Bloodrayne film doesn't have much to do with anything, I don't believe, in the game. But, and this is the big but, there's also the controversy of the content inside, of course. She is very, very leather clad. Everybody is quite overly sexualized in it. You like the very first sort of other vampire you meet is your sort of mentor in it, and she's got like suspenders and like visible sort of very, very short mini skirt thing, and she's also
hang on. What was supposed to go after the word visible?
I'm not sure. Like visible thigh flesh. Because you got the suspender things. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got very visible miniskirt.
No. Oh no, man. She's got very visible hanging flaps. No. She's the other thing is, for some reason they put boob jiggle physics in there, and it's a game that's not too far off the polygonalism of Tomb Raider 1, just to get that in there. Like even now with a remastered version, yeah, they've made all of the textures nicer, but they're still all quite pointy titted and very angular.
Like
and so they
like
have
a
this
prism bouncing.
Yes, it's basically like a prison bouncing, and it's just this weird shudder, and it doesn't seem to actually happen for any reason other than the camera has changed. So it's like the camera switches to view her, and then ba-boing. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, but yeah, and it does get worse from that. I remember there was some like weird lust demons later on as well, because there always is. But that being said, I played the game for roughly 2 hours, and the very first level, it's a sort of tutorial, which sort of takes you through it. I struggled, and I died several times on the tutorial level.
Oh no!
I know.
I think I remember the tutorial level. Isn't it like an alleyway? So it's a very these early 2000s, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think it's 90s.
Yeah. I think it's early 2000s. Anyway.
All right. Okay.
Late 90s, early 2000s. All the games. I remember. It's probably not the case. I remember all the games had a similar aesthetic. So there was Primal, which came out around the same time, and if you don't know which game you're looking at, they look almost identical from screenshots. And they're all set in back alleyways with chain link fences and generic crates. But wasn't part of the tutorial of Bloodrayne you have to? Does it show you how you climb up walls and stuff? You have to push a crate.
No, it was. That must be a different. It might be the sequel or something like that. But it's set.
Game.
It's set in Louisiana, the swamp, and there is. Oh God. Yeah, it's just like in a sort of graveyard in Louisiana. So there's water everywhere. So you get taught how to jump up and walk along tight ropes and feed. And you spend a lot of the time just shooting weird Louisiana zombies. Everybody's green, so it looks like they've gone mouldy, sort of thing. Yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, the reason I died is actually, and it's the best reason. It's the reason that you love Farley. There was a weird control issue from I don't know, like setting it up on the PC. The usual shit you have to do whenever you want to do something like start a game on the PC. There's always some shit that has to go wrong or something went wrong. But basically, I remember playing it on the PC, but using mouse and keyboard, and I have a recollection that I enjoyed playing it mouse and keyboard, so I thought I'd do that. And for some reason, just because clicking the left button is on your mouse is the attack button, and I thought, alright, that's cool, that makes sense. You're going to be, just click, 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 attack, do the combos. Sounds good. It took me 2 goes at it to realise that clicking wasn't working correctly. It was happening sometimes. So I was walking up to this zombie and clicking the button, and it wasn't actually causing her to attack the zombie. It was only happening sometimes. And I thought, oh shit, does it mean you have to be like in a certain radius around the zombie? Do you need to be behind the zombie? So I'm doing all of this shit, like thinking, is it area specific? Or maybe I need to like get into a stance first, and I've clicked another button or some shit like that. So yeah, I just kept on dying in the tutorial. What the fuck is wrong with this? As it turns out, I was being silly, and it doesn't work. So I plugged in the game. I plugged in the game, Farley.
Yeah, plugged it in.
Yeah, I plugged in the controller and started using the controller. And nothing corresponds to any of the buttons at all. It's just like you button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, and it's like, oh, what is button 4? Oh, right button is button 7. Is that right? Okay, so button 7 and button 8 are scroll through weapon left and scroll through weapon right, but they're also your harpoon. Right, okay. Is that the harpoon I've set, or is it the, or am I scrolling left on the And yeah, I spent like another half an hour setting up the game controller to try and make it make sense, and then I got fed up with the game and decided fuck you, and I have got past the first level. And there was a cutscene, and I was like, you know what? I don't fucking care about your cutscene, and Alt F4'd out the fucking game. So I would say very, very emphatically that this remake certainly remakes the fucking shit that you had to go through when you were setting up your fucking PC back in 2002. I looked it up, Farley. Yeah, that's about all it does. It's a simulator for frustrating PC setups.
So does that make it a good remaster or a bad remaster? It is authentic.
It's authentic, and it has some weird bib jiggle that I'm assuming was there in the original. I whatever. Yes, it's a good remaster, but of a game that does not stand the test of time.
Jiggly prisms out of 10.
I would give it 1.5 jiggly prisms out of 10.
1.5 jiggly prisms for Bloodrayne remaster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like I was super hyped about this, or not super hyped. That's the wrong word. I was intrigued to go back and replay this because I do have fond memories of playing it. But obviously, it was a different time.
Speaking of different time,
yeah.
Do they have Nazi flags in it, or have they replaced it with a Nazi similar looking flag?
I think they still have the. I don't think they've changed anything else.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, in Germany they didn't have that, because they had much stricter rules, especially around that time. But yeah, no, like, I've no idea. I didn't get that far, Farley.
I'm just looking now. I think there's a screenshot here.
Yeah.
And they use the Isle of Man symbol.
Really? Are you fucking kidding me?
No,
This is another quality moment for the listeners. As
I know, I'm just trying to Google it
search.
so that I don't Google what you'd obviously Google. I don't need that in my algorithm.
He's suddenly in Facebook as you scroll through commemorative plates.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Do not want.
Yeah. Right, okay, cool. As you scroll through your Facebook feed of Nazi memorabilia, why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
Another game I've been playing. This one is long-standing on my list as well. Is Resident Evil Revelations 2. I've talked about it a number of times, but that's because it's the game that just keeps giving. So I don't think I've talked about in detail, but that game, I loved the first Revelations game. But this game just has way too much stuff in it. So at the end of each game, at the end of each, it says 4 episodes. Each episode is split into 2. So one you play Barry and Natalia, one you play Moira and Claire.
Yeah.
And for each half episode, there are medals to earn for doing specific things. Then on top of that, there are sort of achievements, and the achievements unlock rewards, and you have to buy the rewards using currency which you earn unlocking other rewards. There's something like 100 and something rewards to get, and then there's 100 odd achievements to unlock, and then there's the usual kind of modern Resident Evil unlockables. There's figures, concept art, secret files, and then that's before we even talk about raid mode. So I've put most of my time into raid mode. I've not redone the story over and over again, and we've talked before about how the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remakes, instead of kind of swapped the requirements for mastery, so it's all about just doing it as quickly as possible and not factoring in things like retries and saves. Disappointingly, it's all about speed. And this one kind of has a little bit of both, but it has a bunch of extra modes. So there's invisible mode, in which all the enemies.
Told me about, I think you've told us about this. Us being the collective, podcast audience as well.
Which I just thought was ridiculous. I'm never going to do. So all the enemies, including bosses, are invisible. But the kind of the non-combat characters, the Moira and Natalia.
Do you know what? It reminds me of sorry, I'm just interrupting you. Playing in invisible mode reminds me of those people that play Guitar Hero but didn't need to look at the screen anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of hardcore fucking I'm so good at fucking Guitar Hero I don't even need to do the screen anymore. I'm just like, Jesus. That's just like a special zone all itself, like knowing a game that well, you know? But anyway, sorry. Go on.
So anyway, me and my wife completed all 4 episodes of Invisible Mode.
Oh, wow. No fucking way.
Yeah, so we decided to sit down and do it. I mean, she's never touched a Resident Evil game, let alone... So her first foray into a Resident Evil game was playing Resident Evil Revelations 2 on Invisible Mode.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so now, you know, hopefully the countdown mode and various other achievements we have to hoover up will be super straightforward because you can actually see the enemies. And it did create... it was a stressful time because, you know, it's all about... Particularly when they're invisible, one character could make enemies more visible. There's an interesting mechanic in those 2 modes. You do kind of end up with a main character. So Barry and Claire are kind of the vulnerable ones. If they die, it's a team wipe. But then Moira and Natalia could be knocked down and not die, and resuscitated. Apart from certain weird situations where they will just die.
Okay, great.
You know, there's a boss that vomits up gas, and if you stay in the gas, Natalia will die. There's a horrible level which is set in a mine with loads of swamp gas, and so you're kind of running through this mine. I mean, it's not a nice. It's a very stressful level normally because you're running through this mine, kind of, you know, looking for the next high point or just desperately looking for some stairs. And as you're dying to the gas, your screen goes monochrome and kind of, you know, black comes in from the corners. So that's really stressful. But to layer on top the fact that there's invisible enemies rattling around in the swamp gas as well, makes it really, really stressful. And so yeah, if any of the characters die in the swamp gas, you die. So there was a bit of stressing, there was a bit of shouting at each other, and a bit of frustration. But also it created those rare moments where you know, you're just determined to get something done. And because it's quite brutal, so like other Resident Evil games, once you keep going through the story mode, you know, you end up carrying a small country's worth of ammo and gear and sub-weapons. In these,
and collecting them, yeah, of course.
Yeah. You know, and you've got your katana and you've got your bowgun and you've got your Chicago typewriter and you've got infinite explosive bottles or whatever. But in this mode, in countdown mode, which we're trying next, which is even harder, I'd say, than invisible mode, it gives you fixed equipment. So you do find yourselves in these situations like, right, there's one in particular, fairly near the end of the game. So the episodes are all different lengths. So the first episode, you know what you're doing, you can do really, really quickly. And then the 4th episode is really short for Claire and Moira, and then super long for Barry and Natalia. And there's this one particular kind of set piece scenario that we're in, and we tried doing it a number of times, and we just did not have enough ammo. So also the items are randomly distributed. So you enter this boss arena. It's very clearly a boss arena. It's like there's a huge waste disposal unit where things come out, and we knew the order in which things came out and how they had to be dealt with. And then it kind of really gets down to that item economy. It's like, okay, I can take out these 4 nasty bastards with my knife, right? If one of them gets me, and we've not been lucky with the herb drop, because in each of these random boxes you can either get like a herb or some ammo, or the worst option would be like so a topaz or a
the
sapphire.
gacha sort of quality of it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So sometimes we go around, it's like, okay, we got no ammo, we got 1 herb, and we got 3 rubies, which are useless, right? Just stuff that you sell, and are absolutely useless to us. So yes, then it just became this by the end. So I think we spent a night and a half on this one level. This kind of military operation of like, okay, you know, Bog Eye's out, you go and stand underneath, and then I have to hit him with these 4 handgun bullets, otherwise we have to restart. And then, okay, the guys are dropping, I'll go and try and knife them. If he goes left, that's fine. If he goes right, the other fine. And then there's these other, there's like a big boss enemy that appears, but then there's these other enemies, I can't remember what they're called now, who are invisible in the normal game, and even Natalia can't see them. She can kind of see a shade of them, but it's really hard to judge their distance. And they have a one-hit kill move.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
Yeah. So we call those bug guys. There were 2 bug guys. So because Natalia sort of has this invincibility, so Natalia's this little girl, she can also pick up bricks and throw them. But, she kind of has to bend down to pick up the brick, and it takes her a while. And then, you get the arc up when you go to throw it. But because all you can see is this hazy red blob, it's really hard to see, like, is he there or is he behind something? So when the bugs turned up, Natalia had to brick them to death, whilst as Barry, you're kind of trying to stay away from them so they don't do this one-hit kill. Anyway, some fantastic moments, and we did do all 4 episodes, so we got all the concept art, and then we unlocked a silly thing for doing all 4. So it was really fun, but just that nostalgia of kind of having a real challenge. I mean, being like, right, and then and that classic trajectory of you really well on the first run, less well on the second run, dozens of shitty runs, right, where you're just getting progressively worse and worse and worse. Setting yourself on fire, can't hit anything. Then you're at the trough, the frustration trough, and then eventually there's a couple of better runs to redemption. It's nice, yeah, nice stuff.
Okay, so Resident Evil Revelations 2. How many bug guys out of 10 would you give it?
Bug guys, I give it. I do like it. I give it 8 bug guys out of 10.
8 bug guys out of 10. All right, okay.
Yeah,
that's quite a high recommendation there.
Yeah, I think it's fast becoming the one that I've probably put the most time into, which is really saying something.
Okay.
And we got countdown mode to do next, which is stupider and harder. And we're really not liking that. What have you been playing?
Well, as I alluded to on the other podcast, or a little while ago, it's still prep for Nax time. In our timeline, Nax has just come out in World of Warcraft, so a lot of the time is just spent on like the Scourge invasion, getting things and getting all the consumables. But I found myself on the Blizzard launcher the other day there, and I was looking at it, and I thought, you know what, I haven't played in a long time, and that's Diablo 3. So I
thought you were going to say Hearthstone.
Oh God, I did get a recommendation to play it that it was good. I played a couple of Hearthstone matches, and I was like, this isn't good. This is just a mess. Hearthstone is just a mess of what it used to be. You've got a mode which is, this is the season mode, this is the only cards you can use. Alright, okay, cool. I own none of them because I haven't played in 5 years.
Yeah. And
then there's another mode which has everything in it, which basically means I just now have a tiny amount of what everyone else is playing with, and the only cards I can play with are the ones that are in this mode, which is so expansive and so impossible to beat people with because metas have emerged, cards have changed.
Yeah, they've got their infinite combo.
Yeah. There you go. I played Hearthstone.
Welcome
People playing Farley
to the world of CCGs. That's how they get you.
Oh yeah. Listen, I stepped in purely because it was a recommendation to have a little go at it again. Didn't have the most fun that I expected, and promptly removed it from my computer. I think it's still on my phone though. Fucking, it's how they get you. But yeah, it's Hearthstone is a mess, and in order for me to get to a point in Hearthstone where I actually could be competitive or whatever, I think I'd need to spend another couple £100 on fucking booster packs for that random chance of a shiny, or not even a shiny, just a fucking decent card, whatever. Fuck Hearthstone.
Just start doing your dailies again.
Yeah, listen. Anyway, I wasn't talking about Hearthstone. I'm talking about Diablo 3, which is another random pinata fucking gacha type nonsense game. But yeah, there's a new season came out.
What?
Yeah, season 22.
Oh my god! Wow.
Oh,
Okay. I really didn't think they would still be doing. And it's not just is that new content? It's not just rerunning.
There's new content to me. It's like you're rerunning the same thing, but I went through it. So there was new weapons, new sets, new things, and of course they mix up the seasons as well. So this season they have another power that you can use on your character. They've upped the difficulty levels to like even harder now. And also there's this weird bonus where every time you collect a pylon, which is like a temporary power up sort of thing, you get a shadow clone, which is basically a clone of you which does all the moves that your character normally does, and is basically stupidly overpowered. So it's like if you're a low level character and you go and click on this pylon, you're killing everything you can find. You personally aren't, your shadow clone is, and you're getting all the EXP from it. So it's quite broken, but it's kind of fun because you just run through and leveling is part of the game. And I started as my Crusader again, as I always do, and I went through, collected the sets, got up to ridiculously high Paragon level. Do you know about Paragon levels?
No.
So in
is it like black and white?
I don't know.
Is there, what game is it where Paragon is your good morality? And
no, it's not morality. No. Paragon,
what game is it where Paragon is your? I'll research it. You talk about whatever you're talking about.
Well, the Paragon is like you get to level 70 in Diablo 3, and that is the top level. But after the top level, you can continue to collect XP and you get Paragon points, which is basically keep spending all of your points and you can put them into a particular stat that is of use to your character. So, like for instance, with the Crusader, you can just bundle all of your points into strength or vitality, and then you can just continue to put these points in to an infinite degree, and basically that's what helps you push to some of the harder levels.
It's Mass Effect.
Sorry?
Mass Effect.
Oh, yes it is. That's coming out on the Switch, isn't it? I think they're doing like a Mass Effect bundle or something stupid like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested because I missed all of these. Because during the silly sales, there was also the BioShock trilogy.
I miss BioShock entirely as well. People like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could pick up BioShock. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. That being said, Mass Effect. I played Mass Effect, and it's basically Dragon Age, but in space. And I think I preferred Dragon Age. The combat's way more fun than Mass Effect.
You're a big Dragon Age fan. What happened to you in Dragon Age?
Nothing. There just isn't a new Dragon Age game. I've played them all. There is going to be one coming soon, and I will play it, and I will enjoy it, undoubtedly. But yeah, like, I have no qualms with it. I think they are very, very good. 9 out of 10 games that I've played.
Yeah.
See
many blog articles on www.thatguys.co.uk on Dragon Age.
Yeah, absolutely. With some great titles as well. I believe one of the first ones is Dragon Age of Consent. Because I'm super woke. You know?
It was a different time.
Yeah. But yeah, basically to distract myself from the monotony of the consumable collection and sort of waiting to actually get into Naxxramas and World of Warcraft, I have been doing some very, very short burst, fun little runs with my Diablo 3 character this season. It's a very, very easy bite off and chew game because you can literally spend 5 or 10 minutes playing it, achieve things, and then you can spend another 5-10 minutes just redecking your character. I'm like, okay, cool, I got a new thing, I'm gonna destroy that thing so I can get this thing. And it's great fun in that fashion, you know. So I like it.
Sounds a bit like Pokemon Quest.
Except you actually play Diablo 3.
Do you?
Yeah, you do.
Does the clicking really add to Diablo 3?
Oh man, I've actually had an issue with that as well. So like, I own Diablo 3 on the Switch.
Yes.
There is no clicking involved, and that is amazing. It's the most wonderful thing. But I've been playing Diablo 3 on the PC, and it's really annoying because if you play it at full quality graphics, like super high resolution, like 4K resolution.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah. Billy Big Balls needs to.
Yeah. How big's your TV?
It's not just my TV, it's just like it was a 4K screen I was playing on. Your mouse pointer gets fucking tiny.
Surely you can sort that out. There's an option.
There's no option to make it any bigger. And it is so fucking infuriating because I don't know, maybe I don't know, I'm slow, or maybe I'm not particularly, maybe I'm not very good at games, but I lose my pointer an awful fucking lot in that game. And I die when I lose my pointer. There's a lot of explosions, a lot of shit going on. You're making lots of things happen in Diablo, and if you lose your pointer, you're just like, alright, okay, where's my pointer? You know, you do the whole swing it around the screen to try and find it, and by that point you're just dead. You're just like, alright, fuck. So I've been playing sort of pointer blind. It's like invisible mode. No, it's not.
I think it's the Diablo version of no scoping, right? I'm no pointering.
The pointering, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know why I played it on the PC, because the Switch version is just infinitely better because you don't need a fucking pointer. You're just attacking things, you know. I was silly. But anyway, Diablo 3, good fun. Came back, I think the last time I played it was season 13, and now I'm playing in season 22. You know, so it's.
Do you have FOMO for the 7 seasons you missed?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I don't even know what the seasons were. I'm happy to have just come back for this week in a season. Like, I certainly won't be playing it much more than this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just really stoked with Diablo 3 that it's still getting content. It's warmed the cockles of my heart.
Yeah, it's like people still like it. I mean, I think it's sort of like ending. It's coming to its end. I mean, it has been around for, I don't know, like, what, 11 years? 10, 11 years? Something like that now. And Diablo 4 is, you know, it is on the Blizzard launcher advertised, you know, Diablo 4, it's going to happen.
Was Diablo 3 the one that launched? I mean, this is every Blizzard title. Is that the one that launched with the really problematic auction house?
It had the real money auction house. That's gone, completely gone from the game. So you could actually spend money to get good items. The itemization of things were really, really fucked at the start as well. Like, you could get stupidly powerful items like level requirement -40, which basically meant that you know, you're able to at level 20, you know, hold a level 40 or level 60 weapon, and so you're just basically killing everything around you just by existing. There was a lot of stuff that was very, very broken with it. What it ended up evolving into is what it is now. It's just sort of like, yeah, there was a story, you can do that if you ever wish, but right now the most fun part is replaying and doing bounties and doing the Greater Rifts, which is just basically running through and doing a 5-minute run, and increasing the difficulty as you go through it based on how good the items you've managed to collect are. And that's fun, and it's a distraction. By this time next week I probably won't even be playing it, but it's not been a bad experience. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up about Diablo 3.
Lost pointers out of 10?
Lost pointers out of 10? It's a solid 7.5 lost pointers out of 10.
Okay. Yeah. Solid.
Yeah. So what have you been playing, Farley?
The last game I've been playing, and I don't know what it is. It's. I do know what the game is. I'm building the atmosphere, the ambience. I don't know what it is.
It's a mysterious game.
Yeah, I played it. I do not know its title. Something Disney must be doing something, because all of a sudden, myself and a number of my friends are all of a sudden getting all Star Warsy again. I think it's because the Mandalorian's out, which doesn't hurt. And I guess Star Wars kind of associated Star Wars with Christmas for the last however many years, because there was always a new film coming out. So yeah, just really got into Star Wars. We've started rewatching all the films again. So we've got all the way up to, we've watched them in universe chronology order.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we just got the latest 3 to go, which I'm quite excited about, because I've not seen the last 2 more than once, I think. But all of that hype for Star Wars and talking about Star Wars and having you think about Star Wars, combined with Black Friday deals, meant that I picked up Star Wars Squadrons, because
the spaceship fighting game.
Spaceship game.
Yeah.
And it brings, I forget what I said, but it brings the iconic duality of the TIE Fighter versus X-Wing together in a game. So yeah, really loved Rogue Squadron, as have talked about. And then out of nowhere, I didn't even know this game was coming. Star Wars Squadron seemed to come out. It's quite pricey.
No, I agree. I was like, it sort of came up on my Steam, and I was like, there's a spaceship fighting game right after we did a podcast about spaceship fighting games.
Yeah. And it's great. I mean, it's EA. Sadly, they still have the licensing, so you have to create a nonsense fucking EA account to do anything. And I think a lot of the longevity is playing multiplayer online, which I'm not interested in. They're doing seasons, so at the moment I'm just enjoying going through the story mode. But yeah, when you it's designed. Is it designed for VR? I think it's primarily designed for VR. I'm not playing it in VR because headsets are still ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, I think just playing it on joypad, sometimes it feels like you've got like steering assist on. You can't go too spirally crazy. And the game kind of gently nudges you back, I think. So it's a little bit disjointing in that regard. But it flips you between a squadron of rebels and a squadron of the Empire. So sometimes you'll play opposite sides of the mission once after another. You can choose your loadouts. You can highly edit the loadouts. And yeah, they just really captured that dogfighting very well. They tick most of our checklist for what makes a good spaceship fighting game. You can spin all the way around, and they've done a really clever thing with meters. So essentially, you can rejig whether you're putting your energy into your boosters or your lasers, and if you're in an X-Wing, also your shield, I think. So when you're not kind of dogfighting, spiraling around, moving around to try and find your target, you're managing meters, you're releasing chaff to stop the missile, or you're locking on and firing a missile, but all with the familiar scream of TIE fighters and the Star Wars lasers and all of that. So yeah, really, really enjoying it. The story bits in between the missions are kind of told in a very VR, you're kind of in a fixed perspective and you're looking around a hangar or you're looking around a briefing room and then you click on people to have a conversation with them. But that's quite
more
nice.
Of that VR stuff. Yeah.
You're fixed to the spot. Actually, I'd like to go over there, but I can't go over there. I'm rooted to the spot, and then I have to pick things to interact with. But aside from that, really, really nice. But it's one of those games where, in the moment, you can't really, you lose track of what's going on, or so much is going on, and you're so focused on trying to get that target within your reticule to shoot it. That I've been recording a lot of videos of my gameplay and then watching them back to see like what was actually going on whilst I was doing that. It's beautiful cinematic, explodey. Sometimes you're flying into the enemy fleet and there's just lasers everywhere. The kind of stuff that there are lots of problems with it, as I've just described, but those rare bits of cinematic moments where you're like, wow, if I could go back to 2000, travel back in time and speak to myself in the year 2000 and be like, in 20 years time you'll basically be playing a Star Wars film.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's very high praise indeed.
Yeah, having a blast. I don't think it's particularly long, but I guess I'm an honorary member of the Dad Guild.
Yeah. Good old Dad Guild.
So I'm quite happy that it's not life absorbing. There's not 100,000 medals and achievements, and as you were saying with the other games, you have to play it every day to get the items. Otherwise, you don't have a chance. Just log in every now and then, do 1 or 2 missions. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Buggy as fuck, though.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was about to say. Actually, was when I saw the release of it, and then I saw the reviews. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is a mess," and I was just like, "You know what? I'll do a wee wait for this one." It's like everybody right now has this massive fucking hard on for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why? Why are you excited for this game that on launch is going to have game-breaking, awful bugs in it? Yeah, it might play, it might be pretty, it might step into that vaporware aesthetic that all the kids are getting into, that we grew up with, Farley. And yeah,
you've shaved hair on one side. Oh, you're so hacky.
you hacker, you.
With your sexy goggles and your crap Chinese character.
Your synth music playing in the background.
Oh, and your bloody khaki string vest. You're so bloody edgy.
But yeah, so basically everybody is super excited for this. I am not going to buy Cyberpunk 2077 until at least the gold version has come out.
Until the year 2077.
Yeah. Exactly that. Fuck it. There's no point. There's very little that's got me excited about that game because everything is marred with the inevitable. Inevitable.
Now we can say it.
Yeah, the inevitable fucking bugs that are going to be covering it. Now, it's exactly what I was saying the other day there about Bethesda games when they first come out. It's like, want to play Skyrim on day of release because you will literally have a save file that's probably not going to work after the 10 patches that come out in the following 10 days of its release. You're just like, it's a tough ask for anyone to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, new Fallout game's coming. All right, cool. I'm going to play it on first day of release." They're just like, "You fucking fool," you know. I feel like this Cyberpunk, it's the same guys that did The Witcher. Yeah, they're cool and all that, but I just know that a game of that vastness is not going to be. It's going to be a shit show, you know. So fuck it.
Well, because it wasn't. I have not played any of the Witchers, but I distinctly remember that 1 or 2 or 3, all of them were just fucked on launch for ages.
I think a few of them had some decent QA done on them. But yeah, no, like I think they got several releases. Put it that way. So they exist in several iterations. So there is definitely versions out there that were pretty bad that I'm aware of. But yeah, like I whatever anybody says about The Witcher, I'm just like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's talk about The Witcher. Cyberpunk, I'm just sort of like, you know what? I might give it a go once I don't have fucking World of Warcraft in my life anymore. Further down the line. But right now, there's no need to get it, except if you're like, you know, you bought a PS5 just for it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's not.
Yeah.
Not a lot else on these new gen consoles. It's new. Anyway, so Star Wars Squadrons. I've probably played a dozen or so missions, and 2 of them I've just had to completely do over from scratch. So, you know, on the kind of between you finish the mission and your medals and whatever, the game's just crashed. I'm pausing the screen.
So how many awkward Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley kisses would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it 7 completely lacking chemistry kisses out.
Unnecessary, completely lacking chemistry.
Yeah, just anti excitement kisses. Energy kisses. I mean, even they look disappointed kissing. It's like, oh, really? Is this what we're doing? Like, not just as actors, as in-universe characters.
Yeah. Right.
What are you playing?
Well, I've got a couple of other games I want to mention. We're going to end on a classic, but before I get there, I want to continue the earlier theme of controversy, and I'm almost ashamed to say it. I played a game that I picked up, or just picked up recently actually, but was sitting on my Steam wish list for a long time, purely based on one article I read on Kotaku. Sorry, Farley, I might have just plugged Kotaku.
Oh, unsponsored.
But yeah, it's a game that I thought sounded hilarious because it had this controversy around it, and it was a game called Valkyrie Drive. It is a hack and slash fighty game, and the gimmick behind it is you play as 2 girls, you kiss the other girl, and she turns into a weapon, which makes the hacky slashy more powerful and bigger combos and all that sort of thing. So in classic Japanese madness, of course, there is this whole lesbian relationship shenanigans that goes on, and it is a matter of kissing your chosen partner to get a power up. I do feel a little bit dirty after playing that game. I'm not super happy about it, but it's a thing. Have you just gone because of the Kotaku thing?
No. I was just looking up. screenshots and
Yeah, careful. It is. It's actually worse than what I described it as.
Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So, upon further playing of it, you do have your classic video game tropes, and it was Japanese ones, and they have these ridiculous big chests, with I don't know, like they seem to be made of like water balloons because they have this ripple that goes over them when they bounce as well. Boob physics, man. Like I don't know why it even exists as a thing in games, but it's terrible. But it gets worse than that. So you partner up with these girls. You have like two girls that will always fight beside each other. One of them can become the weapon for the other. First thing that is awful is I thought it was just kissing because that's what it has in the trailer. It's not. It's like, give me a quick grope and I'll turn into a weapon. So it's like, it's not just kissing, it's actually sexual arousal.
You didn't know about that? Yeah,
I did not know about that.
Right, okay. You just thought it was about holding hands and kissing.
Fucking... So I was just like, alright, okay, she's just grabbed her boob. But it gets worse than that. Are you ready for this, Farley?
Sure, yeah.
Are you ready? Are you really ready?
Embraced.
The girl that you're partnered up with is your fucking sister.
Okay, that is very strange.
Yes. So, it's a weird game about getting your blood relation hot so that she can turn into a weapon that you can use to fight robot things. Yeah. That doesn't get explained enough. You know what I mean? that is something people should know.
Does it? Or maybe that's... Oh god, there's clothes destroying in it as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
It's your typical... I think it's... the studio is Marvelous. And they did like the Senran Kagura's and stuff like that. So there's a dressing room option where you can put them into poses and stuff like that. And she's like... I am slightly ashamed to have that on my Steam list, but it's a thing, and I thought I'll play it because it had the controversy, and it was genuinely worse than I thought it could be. But there you go. I have ashamedly been playing that. Don't sit there in quiet judgment.
I know. I'm watching. I'm watching some gameplay, and it really is quite astonishing. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like the hack and slash bit. Despite all of that, this is quite cool. Doing the jumping, the combos. I can't justify this. I can't justify this. Don't like it, Richie. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many incest power-ups out of 10?
I'm gameplay wise, I'll give it a solid 5 because of the fact that it's. I can't believe it's about turning on your sister. I'm gonna give it a half out of 10.
Okay.
Half an incest. Jesus, man. This is quite cathartic. This is almost like a confessional to the rest of the world. Yeah.
Has anyone seen you play it?
My girlfriend has. I think the exact quote is, "What are you playing?"
No, it's got a really good story. You just have to...
It's really deep mechanics for fighting. Just let me kiss my sister quickly so that I can show you the big power up.
Yeah, so that a bra bursts the front of her shirt. And then I do more damage.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
And I have been playing another game as well.
Yeah.
So to move away from the controversy? controversiality or whatever. Mortal Kombat came out with its new update a little while ago, including 3 new characters: Melina, Rain, and Rambo. So I've been playing through on those characters. Rambo's a fucking weird character.
Okay.
Like, I don't know where it came from. Why in the film, genres they chose to go for Rambo. And they went for young Rambo. They didn't go for the Rambo Last Blood with Sylvester Stallone covered in his plastic surgery. So that's a good thing. And yeah, he's a very weird character to play with. He's got a self-heal where he can like stab a bug on the ground and he eats it. I'm guessing that's from one of the Rambo films.
Yeah, it must be. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've watched any of the Rambos.
So he's a little bit different to play with. And he has this sort of weird ending to his sort of when you go through the tower for him, and it's sort of like he's dealing with his PTSD by not wanting to change history and things like that. Like, okay, this is actually quite a sad. It's quite like it's tugging very different heartstrings than you'd expect Mortal Kombat to tug. You know what I mean?
And also a very weird character as a vehicle for exploring these topics and themes.
Yeah. Especially when you've got Melina, who is a fan favourite and is pretty much a gory cannibal. Very, very happy to sort of have opening scenes of her just like eating people's faces, and her fatalities are really super gross. They've done her good justice to bring her back. I think of all of those characters, you kind of feel like Melina's always been there. Rambo is an odd one, which you're just kind of like, why are you even here? And then Rain is back and is really, really underwhelming. I like Rain. I like the concept of Rain. So they've changed him around an awful lot. So he's basically sort of made of water, and he has this sort of water swishy move, and like, this is a cool character. I think if you'd have brought him out with the original game, but Rain became something different for me, especially like with Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and I always thought it was quite fun to be like the purple ninja, but now he's sort of like this king, and it's weird. I just don't connect with Rain as a character, and I haven't really played that much as him, so I suppose that says a lot about how much I like him as a character. But yeah, so those 3 are out. And
how are their do they have like cool interaction gimmicks? Do they get like, can you play through story mode with them?
Yeah, they get their own story modes where they go through and they have their own endings, and you get to play and fight versus Chronica, and everybody has their own interactions with the other characters as well. So like if you choose Rambo and you go up against Terminator, Rambo's opening is him sort of underneath some leaves, and then he leaps out, and Terminator comments, "Staying hidden is a silly path," or something silly like that. He certainly didn't say it was a silly path.
Staying hidden is a silly path. That classic Terminator quote.
Yeah.
You get it on mugs and t-shirts.
Shut up. Fucking die in a fire, Ron. But yeah, no, it's I'm
writing that down.
Fuck off.
Hidden is a silly path.
It's even better with the Austrian accent. Is a silly path. Yeah.
Any other classic lines from characters interacting with each other?
Oh, none that I can think of off the top of my head, but like there's a lot of effort that's gone into the interactions between the characters as well. So like bringing in Melina and of course talking to her sister Katana.
Yeah.
You know,
does it make her boobs explode? Bra pop out?
Oh my god! Yeah. so so there's this bit when you, as a fatality, she just kisses Melina and Melina
powers her up.
Powers up. Yeah. Fuck it. But yeah, those three have come out. The game's been updated, and of course, everybody's all excited and in a whiz for who the next three characters could be.
In a whiz.
In a whiz.
That sounds like a really old-timey saying.
They're in a whiz.
Write that down.
Yeah.
In a whiz. Everyone's in a whiz.
Everybody's in... What's the word I'm looking for then?
I think you nailed it. That's it.
Everyone's in a whiz.
Oh, Donny, I'm in a whiz.
Oh, they're in a pure whiz.
Everyone's in a whiz.
Everyone's in a pure whiz about the next Mortal Kombat characters.
Was this paid DLC, by the way?
Yeah.
Can you remember how much it was?
I think it was $14.99.
Okay. Good. Reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm not getting a whiz about the price. I'm not gonna complain too much. I think it's fair. 3 new characters, everything's voiced, new storylines, new mechanics. It's fun. But yeah, of course, Farley. There are rumors,
right,
about what these next 3 characters could be.
Yeah. Any confirmations on social media as to?
Well, there is some rumors. Some people are saying Deathstroke could be the next new character in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Would that be the first DC? Are there other DC ones in there?
No. There's DC. They've got Spawn in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they had Raiden and Injustice 2.
Yeah.
So I think Deathstroke is a popular character from the meta in Injustice, so they should bring him in. Yeah. There's of course the old Mortal Kombat characters. Reptile is a big fan favorite. Everybody was really hoping Reptile was going to be coming out for this last
It's weird
DLC.
That he's not in the game now.
I know, it's really weird. They're saving him up. I think there's probably going to be like a DLC, a big DLC thing, because he's like one of the most popular characters. It's like not having Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, you know?
Yeah. There can't be many more missing that kind of at that level.
Not at that level. There's other characters from like Mortal Kombat 4 onwards, which I just don't even know anymore. You know, they talk about this. Oh god. Fuck, I can't remember his name. But some guy, he's got like a skeleton helmet, not Shao Kahn.
Yeah, it's like those, you know, Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
Dreamers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no desire or even any inkling to even Google who the fuck that person is, and why they should be in the game. But of course, there's also the rumors of a certain character from the Evil Dead trilogy.
The Necronomicon?
Yeah, the Necronomicon is going to be in as a character.
Oh, nice.
A floating book. As you can imagine, those fatalities should be a lot of fun.
You can bite their hands, summon a demon army.
Yeah.
Fly around.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, fuck that. I mean, there's very clearly it's Ash Williams, and he's supposed to have been in it, and I'm still sure it will happen. despite people saying, "Oh no, it's not confirmed," or "It is confirmed," or "No, he didn't do all the lines," or whatever, some sort of shit there, I think Ash Williams would be an excellent addition. It was around Halloween time, and I was just looking back at how cool some of the previous people that were on the roster for the Mortal Kombat games were, like including Leatherface and including Alien and Predator, like Freddy. You know, it was so cool to get all of these characters in there, and it like really feels like a horror game. I really wish there was back compatibility for Mortal Kombat 11 to Mortal Kombat 10, you know? Just bring them over. Just, I don't care, you know, I want Jason Voorhees in the game doing his thing. But yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's strange. It must just be 80s kids. As we've said many times, 80s kids are now game developers. And so they're just putting in things that they like, because all of those horror characters like Freddy and Jason Voorhees and blah 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 blah, they're they're popping up in all these games, and I'm sure there are some younger people out there like, who the fuck are these characters who keep popping up in various licenses?
What is it?
Oh right, there's some 40-year-old movie where some 40-year-old shit horror movie where he's in it. Okay, weird.
Yeah, I suppose I never really thought about it that, because I'm too acclimatized. I don't know. I mean, there's enough films and media about these, you know, sequels and things like that still exist to this day. You know, like Freddy films, like they had that reboot, like what, 5 or so years ago. You know, with the guy from Watchmen in it. Yeah. I'd like Halloween, like I think last or this year, in fact. No, last year. Got that sequel made to it, like direct sequel with Jamie Lee Curtis in it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's that, and of course, Alien franchise just won't fucking die.
No, I honestly can. I don't think I've seen Alien Covenant.
Oh, they've got Covenant, you get Prometheus, you got how it ties in as a prequel. Do we have a CG Ripley yet in any of these films?
Don't know. I've not seen Covenant.
Alright. Well, yeah, I mean, so I think they all still stay quite pertinent. And we had that Predator remake 5 or 6 years ago as well, which people liked.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's still current. Leatherface is probably the least current of them all.
I think they remake that every year. It feels like they remake it every year. Or remaster it. Or...
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I wouldn't... I'm not going to disagree because I don't know, but it's certainly not come up on my radar. Right. I think let's stop talking about Mortal Kombat. Maybe let's stop talking in general. Do you have anything else that you've been playing or want to play, or anything you'd like to add at this point in time?
No, I think perhaps a discussion for another podcast. But all the Pokemon Go changes. We should probably talk about.
God, I mean, you say changes. You mean more fucking fake currencies that have been added to the fucking game?
Yeah, but there's some quality of life stuff in there, and anyway, we can talk about that.
That's true. Yeah,
another time.
Yeah. Stay tuned, listeners, for our next episode, the Pokemon Go quality of life changes episode.
And by that time, you'll have had a month hands-on, so you'll know all about it. So wait to hear our Stone Cold takes.
Stone Cold take.
Until then, kids, remember that staying hidden is a silly path.
Motherfucker. Oh, God. Farley, That guy's a maniac.
Why did he bite me?
Why did he bite me?
Skynet has superior numbers.
That's why I fight from the shadows.
Hiding only delays the inevitable.